welcome back to Cityline. With me, I have someone that we have not seen in a while. Every week, we get to see the beautiful animals that he and his team embrace and love. But it has been a while since I've had on the comfy couch Mr. Stuart Earley, who is the Chief Executive Officer for the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce counties. Stuart, it's so good to see you.
And you, it's been a long time, and it's really good to see you again, Amanda.
Well, it's been too long, so I have to ask you, who is this wonderful puppy with you today?
Well, this is Hummingbird, and she's a little bit trembly, a little bit nervous. She's one of the confiscate dogs we took in about a few weeks ago. So she's been through a lot, but she's doing very well at the shelter, and hopefully she'll soon be available for adoption.
Oh, I love that. Now, didn't these come from the same place that the other pit bulls came from a year ago?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've now taken about over 80 animals from the one place. And this is something which we are concerned about. We would ideally like to see the courts moving a bit faster. Animal control do a wonderful job, but the COVID-19 situation has made the court progress even slower. And I think the first case is still in appeal.
Oh, I guess I sit here and think, how could these people have been allowed to have more animals, Stuart?
Yeah, and it's one of our questions. I mean, what we would like to see more is bans. The problem with the court system is that the courts are sometimes reluctant to impose jail sentences for animal cruelty issues. Sometimes fines don't work because they're not big enough when you're talking about dog fighting situations where there's big money involved. But bans really do work. And they prevent people having animals again, so we can't have repeat situations that happening.
So when you talk about a ban, and I'm assuming a ban would prohibit somebody from owning an animal for the rest of that person's life, is that correct?
Yeah, well, that's one of the options. I think the courts have the discretion to impose bans of maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, and as you say, maybe forever, depending on what the level of severity of cruelty is. If someone's done something really horrific, then we would prefer to see them banned for life. But it might be the courts decide a more lenient route is the way forward.
So in the meantime, I have to say, thank goodness for organizations like yours that are there to look after these precious little souls and nurse them back to health, because what you're dealing with is behavioral trauma in terms of how these precious angels have been treated. And I can't even begin to imagine the cost of rehabilitating one of these perfect pets.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, someone like Hummingbird here, she hasn't got anything physically wrong with her, but she is really, really nervy. She's sitting here shivering, and it takes a lot of work. I mean, as we still have a dog in the shelter from the last confiscate from this place, which was almost a year ago. Because sometimes these animals have to have a lot of work in helping them adapt their behaviors, and sometimes they have health issues. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of money to support that. So we really do appreciate all the support that your viewers and everyone else gives us in helping these animals survive. We save animals and we make happy happen.
You do, and you mentioned something that I want to expand on, and that is, you said there's nothing physically wrong with Hummingbird right now. Oh, there we go. I can see you standing up. Sitting up, yeah. Nothing physically wrong. And in some ways, Stuart, that might be the easier route, because you can look at a leg, you can look at a wound and see that it's been healed. But when we're talking internal trauma, that takes a longer healing period, doesn't it?
It can do. Sometimes animals turn around very quickly. The great thing about animals is they forgive people. They love people. You do, don't you? She's, they forgive people, but they sometimes it means they're slow to trust again. But Hummingbird is really coming around. She's really doing well, aren't you? And she just needs to get to know someone. I mean, just in the short time she's been here, you can see she's getting more relaxed. So I think it's that initial, she's trembling, she's a bit concerned. You've stopped trembling now, haven't you? And now we're looking around, taking stock of what's going on, and she's doing really well. So it does take a lot of time and effort sometimes, and she's going to go and explore now.
Well, that's okay. She's allowed to get down. So, Stuart, not that we would hold you to this, but I'm sure as people watch this, they're going, I want Hummingbird. I want Hummingbird. How do we find out when Hummingbird will be available for adoption, and how is that adoption process different from a regular adoption process?
Yeah, Hummingbird is not up for adoption yet, and I can't sort of tell you the exact time she'll be available for adoption. The thing is to keep watching our website or call in, because and we will be soon putting up for adoption at some stage. Because they have come from a confiscate, we do sometimes extensive checks, and therefore we won't be just adopting these animals to anyone. We will, and I hope people will bear with us on that, because we want to make sure they're not going through a circuitous route back to where they started from. So we will be doing some home checks. We will be doing other checks to make sure they're going to really good homes, because after all they've been through, they really do deserve it.
Of course, and I mean, your stewardship and your caution touches my heart, because these little babies deserve the best second chance they can get. So, with the current lockdown, how can viewers help support the shelter?
Well, the big one I would say at the moment is our car raffle. We've got a great partnership with the Larson Automotive Group, and they are wonderful people, and they gave us a car for our raffle. And it's a $40,000 car, and you can choose whatever car you want from their stable of brands. So it's a tremendous opportunity for people. I can't actually buy any raffle tickets because I'm prohibited, being one of the management here. But if I could, I'd buy hundreds of them, because to win, they're $5 each, and to spend $5 and potentially get a $40,000 car is wonderful. So it's a great opportunity for people. I mean, I'd love to have a Dodge Charger or a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Oh my gosh, well, I gotta tell you, I think I would have to go with the Mercedes or the Porsche or something like that. So $5, is there a limit to the number of tickets that you can buy?
No, you can buy as many tickets you like. We have a set limit. We will not sell any more than 20,000 tickets. So people have got a great opportunity to buy them. But the key thing is that the draw is on the 17th of December. So that is only it's not even 2 weeks away. So if people want to buy a ticket, they need to get down to the shelter, buy a ticket. Unfortunately, because of the gambling laws, we can't sell them on phone or online, but people can come down to the shelter. They could also go into any Larson dealership and buy tickets there. And they can buy as many as they want. And if I could, I would, because it's a great opportunity.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, we are all being hard hit in terms of pandemic, in terms of jobs, in terms of the eviction moratorium that is going to end soon, as far as we know, and cars break down, and we have to decide between food on our table, keeping the lights and the heat on, and repairing a car. Wow, a brand new car would be a real gift right now. And can you imagine what it would be like if one of our viewers who were watching right now bought that ticket and won? I'd have to have him on the show, I think.
Absolutely. What a great holiday present.
Wouldn't that be great? So, Stuart, we are ending the end of 2020. In many ways, we want to say sayonara. But we also must point out this has been a really challenging year financially for the Humane Society. So, how are things looking for you, and what are the plans for next year?
Okay, well, you're right. It's been a really tough year. We've taken a few hits. We couldn't have our live dogathon, so we had to go virtual. We couldn't stage our fur ball. So we've taken a few hits, but we have kept our team together. We have wonderful teams looking after the animals and fundraising. A lot of our shelters let a lot of people go during the pandemic, but we kept our teams together. We had no layoffs, and we remained open throughout the whole COVID-19 scenario, and we saved 6,000 animals. I mean, that's 6,000 animals that might have been euthanized because there was nowhere for them to go. But we've saved 6,000 animals during the COVID-19 pandemic, which we were all immensely proud of.
6,000 hummingbird puppies you saved, and kitties. And I know that we even had a turtle on, we had a rabbit on. It doesn't matter how many legs they had, they needed to be saved, and you saved 6,000 of them. My gosh, so what are your plans for 2021? Let me guess, at least 1,200?
Yeah. Well, in 2021, I think what we're all seeing through the COVID-19 thing is that we need to, all shelters need to focus more resources on keeping animals out of shelters. We can make shelters as nice as we like, but there's no substitute for being a warm, loving home. And what we're seeing is a lot of people being hit by hardship during COVID-19, and we're working really hard to try and keep those animals together. We have a lot of outreach programs like our pet food pantry, and we have spay neuter programs, and we want to carry on doing that with more resources applied next year. We're looking at launching an education program in the middle of the year to be talking to school kids, to encourage them to be kind to animals and to respect animals. And we're looking into the viability of having a community clinic that we can actually have people come in, and we can do spay neutering possibly, and we can do all sorts of things with vaccinations. Vaccinations are so important. Sometimes you see animals coming in and it's a question of prevention. If they just had the right vaccination beforehand, we wouldn't have the problem, and people wouldn't then need to go to the vet, clock up expensive vet bills. So it's all about helping people prevent the problems that lead to animals coming into the shelter. So that's our big focus for next year. And we do have a new director of community services, Alex Ropes, who I think you know from the past. She was here before running our volunteer program. And I just want to put a teaser out there. I think it would be a great idea if you have Alex on the program sometime in the future when we're a little bit further forward on some of these things.
Well, absolutely. We can't wait to have Alex on. And it doesn't seem like a right and proper week unless we do have the Humane Society on. So I just want to say thank you to you and to that amazing team of yours for what you do for our community and for our four-legged angels. Stuart, I remember when you were on the comfy couch, when you first landed here, and didn't know anybody. I think you were staying in some hotel.
Yeah.
I could not even comprehend that you had left your beautiful bride in the UK with all the animals, with the house and everything else. And now, several years later, you are right as rain. You have become a part of our family, and you and your team a part of our hearts. So I want to say happy holidays to you and your team, to you and to your beautiful wife. And it's just so wonderful to have you on Cityline with me. And please, don't be a stranger. I love having our Pet of the Week on, but I certainly, my wish for the 2020 is more Stuart on Zoom.
Well, thank you very much, and happy holidays to you too. And we really appreciate all the support you guys give us. You've been wonderful to us. Thank you so much.
Well, Thank you. We have much more to come on Cityline. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.